got a lot of action to look forward to. What's just happened to my mic? Oh, there we go. Mercedes looks to be back, so yeah. Let me know if you guys can hear me because I'm not sure if my mic is working properly. Good morning. Yeah, I think you guys can hear me. Um, yeah, Mercedes look to be back. What's happened is that I don't know. They haven't brought any upgrades or anything, but by the looks of it, their performances have just got so much better. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell both to be good. Oh, I've just had my internet drop out for a second. Hopefully that's back. Cool. Hello, hello. Um, yeah. So here we are, round number 4 of the 2024 season in Japan. We're quite early around compared to usual. Normally, Japan is much later on in the year, but it has been moved round. So as to reduce the climate footprint of Formula One, which is, I guess, at least partially working. Um, yeah. So I'll just run you through what happened in FP1, FP2. So in FP1, just your usual practice session. It was forecast that it was going to rain in FP2, so the teams made a conscious effort to get out onto the circuit early and drive around, collect the data, make sure their setup is as they want it to be. Um, and then after they've done that, they have oh yeah. Then after they've done that, FP2 happened and it rained, so they didn't do that many laps. So that's what's happened on the Friday practice, and then in FP3 it was a pretty standard session. The drivers just going around. We had Verstappen in first, Perez in second, and then we had George Russell and Lewis Hamilton in third and fourth, which is great to see. So that's what I was saying. Mercedes have brought back some pace. Um, Seems to be out of nowhere, but yeah, perfect timing for me. 2 weekends in a row, unbelievable. Yeah, it is unbelievable indeed. But I guess I think the next race is going to be. Hello, Yano Trulli. Yeah, I'm cutting out. Yeah, I've just realised that. Um, I guess I'm just going to have to hold my mic um, in a weird position, but yeah. I don't know. This is weird. My mic's been working fine for the past 3 weeks, but oh well. I'm pretty sure it's just my mic cable's loose, so I will, probably get a new mic cable or something to fix that. Okie dokes. Also, in FP1, Logan Sargent had another crash. Um, of course, last weekend it was Alex Albon that had the crash, and now this week it's Logan Sargent. The problem is that Williams still haven't got a spare chassis, and in fact, this weekend, Williams brought upgrades to the car, and still they yeah, no, they brought upgrades to the car. They fitted them for FP1, and then Logan Sargent went out and crashed the car and broke all of the upgrades. So yeah, the car has been reverted back to the old spec without any of the upgrades, and Alex Albon doesn't get any of the upgrades as well. I think what happened was that um, as sort of like a little bit of a don't know how to say it exactly, but basically because Sargent sat out last weekend's Grand Prix, I think the team maybe gave him the upgrades and as sort of like a I don't know, not like a present, but like as a way to say sorry, I guess. He is racing this weekend. They still do have both cars working, but they're just on the older spec rather than the new upgraded spec that they should have this weekend. We have a couple of other teams with upgrades. We've got the Alpine team, which have brought a couple of upgrades. And no massive improvements in pace, but it has been, you know, basically Pierre Gasly just said it's a step in the right direction. So, you know, it's good to see Alpine hopefully recovering a couple of positions. We don't want to see them bottom of on the screen right now are just the practice timings. So just FP2 practice timings, and that's why there's only 13 drivers that even went out on the circuit, and only 9 that have set a lap time, because um, yeah, it was raining. Can't hear you. Mike's having a problem. Right. Right. Hopefully this is better. Yeah, there's an issue with my mic. Because well, I transported my mic between university and back home, but it was in a suitcase and it was padded and stuff, so I don't see why there should be a problem. But yeah, I think that's better. Okie dokes. So yeah, FP2, bit of a washout. The teams have a little bit less data than usual, which is great. Just always adds up to the action. But in the first 3 races of this season, we have got George Russell out qualifying Lewis Hamilton 3-0, and in the races as well. George Russell has beaten Lewis Hamilton 3-0. Russell on 18 points and Hamilton on 8 points. So George Russell having a great start to the season. Now we'll just have to wait and see if he can continue that and if Hamilton will be able to recover against that, because Hamilton has had a bad couple of weekends and the car has also not been that great. He hasn't been able to adapt to the sort of loose rear end that the car has had. So we'll just wait and see really what he can do, and if he can improve. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a struggle there for Lewis Hamilton. Is an XLR cable or USB? It is a XLR cable. Yeah. To be fair, I've had this mic for about 3 years now, and the cable has gone through quite a bit of, I don't know, just me twisting it and stuff like that. So yeah, probably time for a new cable actually. Right, let's have a look. What else has been going on in the Formula One world? Oh yeah, Sebastian Vettel has been in the news of lately. Basically, there have been rumors that he's potentially going to get the Mercedes seat for next year. Toto Wolff has said that Sebastian Vettel is never a name that you can discount. And there are rumors of an F1 comeback with Mercedes, which would be, yeah, which would be great to see. I mean, I would love to see Seb Vettel back in the sport. That would be fantastic. Of course, if you guys don't know, he is my favorite driver. So, if he's back in the sport, that would be brilliant. Yeah. Also, Seb Vettel has been testing in the wet cars, in the Porsche 963, the Porsche wet car, the Porsche LMP1 car, sorry, the races in the WEC series, of course. He has tested that as well, so maybe we'll see Seb Vettel racing in the 24 hours of Le Mans. That would be fantastic. Who knows though? Who knows what will happen? Vettel and Hamilton in the AMG duo. Well, Hamilton's definitely going to. I think it would be Vettel and Russell, but nevertheless, Vettel back in Formula One. That would be amazing. Right. Oh, also it is Oscar Piastri's birthday today, so happy birthday to Oscar Piastri. Hopefully, he can have a good qualifying, out qualify his teammate maybe. And it is his 23rd birthday. So, yeah. Right. Alex Albon was in 11th place in FP3, but he was saying that he's got basically zero confidence in the car. He can't, well, yeah, he just doesn't trust the car, doesn't have any sort of belief um, in what the car's going to do. Is it going to be stable through the next corner? Is it going to spin out? He doesn't really have any sort of idea, which isn't great. So, and that's probably a potential reason why Logan Sargent ended up crashing as well. If they can't predict what the car's going to do, they add a little bit extra throttle, the car spins out, and that's it. So, not great really for the Williams team, the car not having too much confidence. The Haas team as well, they predicted that they're going to have a pretty tough weekend out. The first sector with all of the high downforce, like sweeping corners, is going to be a very tall order for them. And in FP3, there was 16th place for Nico Hulkenberg and 20th place for Kevin Magnussen. So, yeah, they are really struggling, and their team principal said it's going to be a tall order to get out of Q1, which is pretty difficult. Pretty tough on the team as well. Right. Um, let's see what else is going on. So, also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Definitely will help out the channel. I think I forgot to update the. Ooh, let's get this off the screen. There we go. The like counter is now updating itself. Yes, this is qualifying. And what upgrades were added to the W15? I don't think they actually had that many big upgrades. Not that I know of, at least. So, yeah, I think they just understood their car a little bit better. So they can pick the right setup. And with the right setup, of course, they can go and drive around a lot quicker. So, yeah. But qualifying starting now in 15 minutes time, guys. 15 minutes time, and qualifying will be underway. Yeah. Okie dokes. Also, yeah, be sure to hit the like button. Definitely will help out the channel. Hopefully, we'll get a couple more people tuning in before the start of the session. No, Williams are running two cars. Yeah, two cars as usual. And they've got they got another chassis repaired, or I think they either repaired the chassis or they got another one. But yeah. Oh, I totally forgot. Actually, I need to just give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, I just totally forgot to pin the F1 TV Pro message. Wait, I've just copied F1 TV Pro, F1 TV Pro. Oh well, doesn't matter. Um, yeah. F1 Gamer, the irony in Sargent's crashing the Williams is that he had Albon to repair chassis and now he's gone and wrecked it again. Yeah, see, this is the thing. It's just the Williams are already on the back foot and then they go and well, just having more crashes is not ideal. I think they're probably the most crashes out of any of the teams so far. Definitely in terms of the amount of damage that has happened to their car because of it. Um, yeah, lots of problems with my voice today. Yes, apologies for that, guys. Right. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to try and fix it. There's nothing else I can really do, and my internet's also having a bit of a couple of issues here. Um, yeah. According, the chassis is jinxed and cursed, and William should get rid of it. Yeah, well, if they have another crash today, I think at that point they will just get rid of it. Because yeah, see, this is the thing. Like there can be tiny little cracks in the chassis, like like ultrasonic. Oh no, it's not. Oh, it's cracks that can't even be picked up by ultrasonic sensors. Like really small cracks. But they can still have an effect on performance. So with the amount of impacts that the car has had, I think it might just be the best choice to just go pick a new chassis. And yeah, who knows though? Who knows? Think you feel sleepy? Yes, you'd be correct. I woke up at 5 a.m. today, so yeah. Imagine if our F1 cars could run active wings like the Zenvo. Yeah, that would be crazy. There'd be a whole lot of flapping around, though, because the Zenvo wing is absolutely massive. Um, yeah, right. What are you doing up at 5 a.m.? Well, the race here is at I had to start streaming at 6. So I set my alarm for 6, but then I just woke up at 5. So but I just laid around in bed until I had to get up. So pretty standard really. Um Okie dokes. We should be getting into qualifying now. Only 10 minutes till qualifying starts. So let me see. Um Oh, it is definitely going to be the softs that are going to be the better tire today. It was just the intermediate tires happened. That the timings that I had up there on the screen were the FP2 timings. Yeah, there we go. Those are the FP2 timings, and in FP2 it was raining a little bit, so that's why we have a couple of drivers out on the intermediate tires, a couple of drivers out on the softs. But yeah, it is dry conditions in Suzuka now, so yeah, dry conditions, and there's no more rain on the way, so it will be soft tires for sure. Talk, don't stop. I feel good to hear your voice. Well, that is very nice. Yeah. Daniel Ricciardo gave his car to Akuma Iwasa in FP1. He is now driving his normal car and will be racing as usual in the Red Bull. Yes. Oh, that is the other thing. So, um, Daniel Ricciardo, of course, had a very bad return to F1 very bad start to the season, not doing so great really. And now he is in FP1. He sat out for Iwasa, who is what was I going to say? Apologies for that. So yeah, he sat out for Uwasa, who is like part of the Red Bull driver program. He is currently racing in F2, I'm pretty sure, and he's Japanese as well. So he got to drive in his home races FP1 session, which was great. But then that meant in FP2 when Daniel Ricciardo was meant to like go out, get his setup perfect, and then get ready for qualifying, it was raining. So Daniel Ricciardo already on the back foot doesn't get FP1, doesn't get FP2 because it was raining. So he's only really had FP3 to practice, get the setup correct. And then he'll be going straight into qualifying. So he's already on the back foot from the past 3 weekends, and now here he is with um, two less practice sessions. Only one less practice session than everyone else, but only one practice session at the circuit in this car, which is not ideal to say the least. But yeah, if Ricardo can beat Yuki in Japan, that would be hope for him. Yes, I'm sure Yuki will be trying his absolute hardest, of course, being at home with his home fans. Um, but who knows? Who knows? I think I still would go with Yuki beating Daniel Ricciardo. That's what I think is going to happen. But we'll have to wait and see. You're a great commentator. Thank you very much. How much time will it start? It will start in 7 minutes and 50 seconds, as it says on the right of the screen. What is up, Mr. Mishma? Right. What else? Don't think any other teams have got upgrades. So we are, of course, at round number 4. So upgrades will be coming in this weekend or the next weekend. In fact, I don't think we'll have any upgrades next weekend. Well, it's not next weekend, 2 weekends time, because it is a sprint race in China, which means that a sprint race in China just means that it's going to be pretty difficult for these guys to get upgrades out onto the car and test them and see if they're working properly or not. So we probably won't have any upgrades on the night for the Chinese Grand Prix, but we'll wait and see. Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't just come up with another name. That is true. Jackpot Gamer, what's your prediction for tomorrow's race? Well, I'm gonna have to wait for qualifying to give you a prediction on tomorrow's race. Really, there's no way to know for sure, of course. But given that Max Verstappen has been dominating, unless there's another DNF, unless someone messes with his brakes again, um, it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, to beat Verstappen. In terms of qualifying pace, the Ferraris look pretty on it. They are apparently within 1/10 of a second of the within 1/10 of a second of Red Bull in qualifying pace. Race pace, not so much, but qualifying pace definitely. So we'll have to wait and see. 5 minutes now till qualifying is underway. Let me just get the qualifying data up. So I'll just be back in a sec. Right, there we go. That's the qualifying data. Yeah. So it is, it's looking good. We've got 5 minutes now till qualifying. Not too much action as of now because everyone's sat in the garage. But oh yeah, I guess I can run you through the Japanese Grand Prix circuit. Of course, it is one of the best circuits on the calendar for the drivers, especially. But we'll wait and see what happens. So turn number 1. Well, in fact, the straight as well. So going down the main straight, the drivers head into turn number 1. Just lift off the brakes, lift off the throttle. Sorry, going into turn number 1. Then tap the brakes going through turn number 2. And once they go through into turn number 2, they have got a lot of fast sweeping corners. They've got turn number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. all of them in succession of one another. So you've got to have a very good rhythm throughout that part of the circuit, and essentially the speeds are increasing as the drivers go through. You take the first couple in fourth gear, then you go up to fifth, and then sixth, and then Dunlop curve, which is turn number 7. The drivers take flat out in, I think, seventh gear. So yeah, it is a very, very high speed part of the circuit, and the drivers, that part is like very driver critical. If a driver makes even the slightest little mistake going through one of those corners, they end up losing a whole lot of time. So it's very, very driver dependent, which in this day and age of Formula One, where the drivers are where the teams are dominating because the cars are so quick, this is great to see. The drivers can have some sort of an impact. And then they make their way through into Degner 1 and Degner 2, which is turn numbers 8 and 9. Yeah, very, very high speed, especially Degner 1. The drivers tap the brakes, flick the car in, and then just hope it sticks, really. And then they go through towards the hairpin, which is pretty tricky because you've got to be braking while you're coming around a corner. So the drivers, they quite frequently lock up going through into that part of the circuit. The tyres that we do have are the C1, C2, C3. This is one of the hardest circuits on the tyres, very heavy on the tyres indeed. So yeah, that's why Pirelli have picked the hardest tyres of their range. And then we have got just up the hill towards Spoon Curve, and the driver's just trying to stay on the edge of the curbs as much as possible, especially for the exits of the corners. Especially on the exit of Spoon Curve, it is very, very key to stay as close to the curb as you can, because yeah, that's the way you're going to gain most of the time. And then just down the back straight over the what was I going to say? Oh yeah, over the bridge, sorry, which is just before 130R. This is the only circuit in the Formula One calendar, in fact, that has got a figure of 8, like it crosses over itself. Fun little fact there. And then through 130R, totally flatten these cars, and then braking for the chicane, and then they get back onto the start-finish straight. So that is the circuit. And here we are now, 1 minute till qualifying is underway, and the drivers will be getting out onto the circuit shortly. Yeah. Added Russell to the fantasy instead of Verstappen. Wish me luck. Well, that is a bold choice, I must say. A bold choice indeed. We'll wait and see, though. George Russell was third in FP3, so that is good. But Mercedes still fourth in the standings, only 26 points to their name, and McLaren have outscored them so far this weekend. Sorry, not this weekend, this season. So, yeah. All right. So qualifying starting now in 40 seconds. I'm just going to get rid of the timer there. Here we go then. The drivers will be getting out onto the circuit shortly. Right. In fact, I'm just going to have a quick drink of water before we get going. But the pit lane is currently clear, but we'll have a green flag for Q1 shortly. And then the drivers will be out on the circuit. Of course, the standard qualifying format. Bottom 5 get eliminated in Q1, next bottom 5 get eliminated in Q2, and then the top 10 shootout in Q3. Okie dokie. Yeah, nobody out on the circuit as of now. Don't know why, but they're all sat in their garages with telemetry. Oh, there we go. Kevin Magnussen has exited the pit lane. and has approached turn number 1. Very nice. Oh, he's just frozen there for a sec. I'm sure he'll be back. Yeah, there we go. Okie dokes. Also, guys, if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit the like button. That would very much be appreciated. So, a couple of quick stats about the circuit. It is 18 corners. Drivers spend 64% of the time at full throttle. Top speed is, of course, hit down the back straight. And the drivers hit 200 miles per hour, 322 kilometers per hour. And it is 19 degree track temperature. Oh no, sorry, 18 degree air temperature, 27 degree track temperature, and a pretty dirty circuit to say the least. There's going to be a whole lot of track evolution going on in this session. So whoever ends up taking the last possible time to go for a qualifying lap will have the best conditions. Track evolution is going to be pretty key this session. Of course, with the rain, that has greened up the circuit, as the technical people would say. So yeah, circuit not. Okie doke. So we've got nearly 2,000 people tuning in. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And here we go. We've got Kevin Magnussen starting a flying lap, barreling his way down into turn number 1, and hits the apex of 1 and 2 very nicely. Downshifts down into 4th, and it looks so quick. We've got a new camera angle, and I must say it is fantastic. You can really feel all the vibrations of the car and all of the speed as well. Kevin Magnussen making his way through Dunlop Curve now, hits the brakes into the corner at turn number, into Degner 1, into Degner 2, and doesn't go all over the curbs because the curbs will be slightly wet from yesterday, and then onto the brakes for the hairpin, goes a little bit wide, but that is in fact the preferred line. It's the best line around the hairpin is actually not to hit the apex, because you can carry more speed around the outside line, and then as you go towards Spoon Curve, taps the brakes once again at 50 meters, and then over the curbs again, loses the car a little bit, and then coming onto the exit, he gets a brilliant run onto the back of the onto the straight. Yeah, it is not raining in qualifying. Yeah, dry conditions. It was raining in FP2, so that was raining yesterday. But today there has been no rain, and the circuit is as dry as ever. And now here comes Kevin Magnussen back out across the line, and it is a 1:31.2 from Kevin Magnussen to set the pace at the start of Q1. I don't know why no one else is out on the circuit, but if I'm going to be honest, I think it's because the circuit isn't that quick. So the quicker teams don't want to come out and waste a set of tires. They kind of just want the slower teams to clean up the circuit for them. Yeah. Okie dokes, we've got another couple of drivers, Logan Sargent, Alex Albon, coming out onto the circuit now. So that's going to be a couple more drivers cleaning up the circuit as we get underway for some racing. Okie dokes. We have 13 minutes left on the clock. Yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. If you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. Definitely will help out the channel. If you aren't subscribed, then be sure to do that as well. It will go a long way. Oh, here we go. A very big queue at the end of the pit lane. So we have got the McLarens, the Mercedes, the Aston Martins. Everyone's coming out now. So there we go. Finally, some on-track action. Yeah, the Alpines. Yeah, I think everyone's actually coming out now, as far as I can tell. And there's been quite a few little incidents in the pit lane. Drivers coming out, drivers being released into one another, and Piastri's over the radio saying very dangerous from George Russell. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I don't know what the Mercedes crew are doing. They just released both their drivers into traffic. So, yeah. Okie dokes. But here are the drivers. Then we've got Logan Sargent on a hot lap. And yeah, the rest of the drivers now just coming out of the pits. Lando Norris, in fact, still being held in the garage for some reason. But yeah, the incident will be investigated after the session. The Piastri Russell incident of them releasing into one another. Yeah. Okie dokes, we have got Max Verstappen starting a flying lap, then barreling into turn number 1, sparks flying out of the car, and up the hill he goes now into turn number 3, 4, into the S's really. And he's hitting those apexes very, very nicely. And the drivers have to be careful here because if you touch those apexes, it is very, very easy to lose the car. We saw this in previous years. I think 2019, Nico Hulkenberg just barely touched the curb and the car instantly spun around. The curbs are, very, very not the place you want to be when you are at maximum loading potential on your car. When you've got all of the downforce on the car and everything like pushed to the absolute limit, you do not want to be touching the curbs because that is going to give you a very bad day, really. Yeah. Okie dokes then. Alex Albon, a 1 minute 30.6 for him. Next up across the line of Sergio Perez, a 129.303. And here comes Max Verstappen. 2 purple sectors, and across the line he goes. 3 purple sectors, half a second ahead of his teammate. And it is a 128.8 from Max Verstappen, who is setting the pace at the front of the pack. Then we have got Charles Leclerc 1 second behind him. That is a big gap indeed. Let's see what Carlos Sainz can do. Recently out qualifying Charles Leclerc, and he does exactly that, going 0.3 ahead of his teammate. Now we've got the 2 Mercs coming across the line. They've had pretty good weekend so far. Hamilton up into 4th. George Russell is next across the line. Will he go ahead of Lewis Hamilton? No, he will not. And in fact, 0.2 is the gap between himself and Lewis Hamilton. There's been usually it was, for this season, it's been the other way around. Normally, the Russell's been quicker than Hamilton, but Hamilton, as of now, as of this Q1 session, is ahead of George Russell. Piastri across the line on his birthday in 3rd position, half a second behind Max Verstappen. And there we go, Fernando Alonso up in 2nd place. Now, if it wasn't today, if it wasn't because of the... normally, if Alonso goes up to 2nd place, I'm cheering. I'm like, oh my God, Fernando Alonso, what a lap. But I would like to point out that there is quite a bit of track evolution going on. With the fact that it rained yesterday, the circuit is going to be getting significantly quicker as the drivers are, as the session progresses. So, Fernando Alonso, good lap, but that was after a whole bunch of track evolution has occurred. So... yeah, nevertheless, a quick lap indeed. Let's see what Yuki Tsunoda can do. Currently just making his way towards the chicane. 5Gs of braking as he hits the brakes, coming from 200 miles an hour down to 60. Activates the DRS, comes across the line, and 8th position there for Yuki Tsunoda. Goes 0.3 ahead of his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. So once again, Yuki Tsunoda ahead of Daddy Rick. Right, here comes Lando Norris, yet to have set a lap through 130R he goes, a very, very easy corner in these cars, and here he goes, hits the brakes for the chicane. A little bit over the curbs there, loses the rear of the car and probably loses a tenth or two because of that. But across the line he comes, and it is 6th place for Lando Norris, and he is only a tenth behind his teammate after a little bit of a mistake there as well. So yeah, it's good there from the two McLarens. They're looking pretty quick here, and Yuki Tsunoda, in fact, made a little bit of a mistake on his lap as well. On the exit of Degner too, got a little bit over the curb and lost the rear of the car there. So he's still got time to improve, and so has Daniel Ricciardo. We'll wait and see where they end up at the end of the session, but we have got 7 minutes remaining. Everyone has done their first runs. The gap from first place down to 20th place is 1.9 seconds. Yeah, pretty, I guess pretty close, but if we look from second position down to 10th position, there's only 7/10 of a gap, so quite close at the top of the pack. What are the different colours in the different sectors? Yellow means slower than your personal best, green means quicker than your personal best, and purple means quickest out of every driver, and blue means coming in or out of the pit lane. Yeah, Lando Norris went over the curbs very violently there, not going to lie. At least 2 wheels in the air, so not ideal there for Lando Norris, to say the least. And I'm sure he will improve on his next lap. Right. 5 minutes and 55 seconds remain of the session, and we have got the only 3 drivers out on the circuit, K-Mag, Albon, and Sargent. Those drivers were out at the start of the session. These drivers are out currently in the little midpoint, and then we will get out onto then the remaining drivers will get out as well. Right. Stop yawning. Apologies, guys. Apologies. I've been up since 5 a.m. So, probably should have had a coffee, really. But, oh well. So, we've got 3,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you are enjoying, be sure to hit the like button. If we could get 500 likes, that would be fantastic. But 5 minutes remain of the session. Max Verstappen currently at the top of the pack. Fernando Alonso in second place, Alonso up in second place. That would be brilliant. Of course, this circuit is the driver plays a very big role at this circuit, especially through the first sector. Even the first and the second sector, the S's and Degner 1 and 2 and the hairpin as well, they're all very tricky corners technically. For the drivers, hitting those apexes, getting the rhythm correct through the S's, making sure to place your car precisely so you don't go too wide onto the curbs and then lose a bit of the rear. So drivers having a very big impact on this circuit, and it's great to see Fernando Alonso up in second position. And the same can be said for any driver out qualifying their teammate this weekend. It goes to show that they are performing, they're having much better technical performances compared to their teammates. All right, Alex Albon going through the first sector, half a second down compared to Max Verstappen, but he makes his way towards the hairpin now. Logan Sargent is, in fact, a quarter of a second up, on Alex Albon's previous time. So Sargent improving as well, and so is Alex Albon. Both drivers are in the elimination zone as of now. Albon is currently in 15th place, but they're both at risk of being eliminated. So this is their final laps in Q3, so they've got to make it count here. Alex Albon, without any sort of tow or slipstream, 1 second behind Max Verstappen in the first 2 sectors, and he makes his way through the chicane and we'll wait and see what lap time he can do. 2 green sectors from him, and basically improved in every single mini sector as well. So here he comes across the line. He goes only 11th place there for Alex Albon, a 129.963. Next up is Logan Sargent. He crosses the line, a 130.13. And that is him in 15th place. So unless if no one else improves from the current times, then Logan Sargent makes it through, but he is definitely at risk of being eliminated. Yeah. Your mic is dying. Yeah, right. I've got to hold my mic in this very certain position, and then it stops breaking. So I'm gonna make sure that I keep it that way. Yeah. Right. 2 minutes to go now, and we've got nearly all of the drivers. Well, yeah, we've got quite a few of the drivers still sat in the pits. In fact, Hamilton, Russell, yeah, in fact, everyone in the top 8, apart from Lando Norris, are all sat in the pit lane. Yeah, a little bit surprising there, but I guess their delta is big enough to the drivers in 15th place, so they feel like they'll make it through, and I feel like that's a fair enough, really. Charles Leclerc, though, however, did not have a good first lap, so we'll wait and see what he can do. It is through the first sector, 3/10 down on Max Verstappen. So the Ferraris not looking like they can challenge the Red Bulls, even though in the practice sessions they were looking very quick, and only a tenth between themselves and Red Bull in the well, that's what the practice sessions indicated. Only a tenth between the Red Bulls and the Ferraris in qualifying, but that pace was, I guess, not exactly the most accurate, and maybe there was different parts of the circuit, well, different conditions between FP1 and today, but yeah, Charles Leclerc also getting a little bit of a toe there off Lando Norris, nicely done. And a purple middle sector, so maybe I was speaking a little bit too soon. He's only 3/10 behind and quicker than Verstappen in the middle sector, and here he comes out of the final corner and across the line for a 1 minute 29.36 up into 4th position there for Charles Leclerc. A good job indeed. Pierre Gasly across the line up into 15th place, pushes Logan Sargent into the elimination zone, and Gasly still at risk. Both Magnussen and Hulkenberg now coming across the line. Magnussen across the line in 16th position, Hulkenberg across the line. Hulkenberg, sorry, across the middle sector line, and here he is. Out of the final couple of corners, gets a good exit out of the chicane, and firmly comes across the line. 11th position for Nico Hulkenberg. What a lap. And now that puts Gasly into the elimination zone. Ocon currently in 19th position. What can he do? Here he goes then. 10th position for Esteban Ocon. That is a good recovery, and I'm guessing the upgrades that Alpine have got are working. Daniel Ricciardo through into 9th position, ahead of Yuki Tsunoda for now. Let's see what Tsunoda can do as he comes across the line. I didn't think he's actually pushing, or maybe he was. I'm not sure, but regardless, Tsunoda 10th behind Daniel Ricciardo. So Daniel Ricciardo finally improving. And look at this, Valtteri Bottas up in 8th position. What a lap, I must say. He has done a fantastic job to get that Sauber up into 8th. I mean, wow. But Guan Yu Zhou comes across the line in 20th position. So, yeah, definitely the driver having a big impact there, because we've got Valtteri Bottas up in 8th position in a Sauber. What a lap from Valtteri Bottas, I must say. He has definitely had his porridge. Yes, he has definitely ate his porridge this morning. Yeah, Guan Yu Zhou struggling a little bit. Only, I mean, he matches the time of Logan Sargent effectively, but that's not exactly where you want to be matching Logan Sargent. Um, and let's see what Lance Stroll as well. Lance Stroll in 16th position. He has also been eliminated. Not ideal there for the Canadian driver, of course. So yeah, drivers eliminated in Q1. Logan Sargent was eliminated, but in order of 16th position for Lance Stroll, 17th for Gasly, 18th for Magnussen, 19th for Sargent, and 20th for Joe. And look at this. This is quite interesting, actually. The first time in quite a long time, I don't know the exact stat, but it's been quite a while since we've had 5 different teams getting eliminated in Q1. So that just goes to show that the competition is far closer than it usually is. 5 different teams making it out, getting eliminated in Q1. One driver each, of course. So yeah, very interesting. What happened to Stroll? I'm sure we'll get a replay, but it will probably just be made a mistake going through some corner. Okay, Guan Yu Zhou. The reason he lost out so much was his chicane, his entry to the chicane, his exit to the chicane were just terrible. Effectively, he made a pretty big mistake. The car bounced around on the entry because he hit the curb, and then on the exit, he just lost the rear of the car. So yeah. Oh, sound is gone. There we go. Sound is back. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I didn't bring my headphones with me because I was like, oh, I'm not going to need my headphones. My mic's been working for the past month. It'll be all right. And then the one time I didn't bring my headphones to check if my mic's working, my mic starts breaking, you know? Yeah. Okie dokes. It's not a 10-minute break. It'll be 2 minutes now. I think 2 or 3 minutes till we get underway for Q2. Yeah. Also, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Hopefully, we can hit 500 likes. That would be fantastic. Yeah. Okie dokes. Right. Yeah, I mean, not too much of a surprise. I mean, the teams that we knew that were the slowest ended up getting eliminated. The only big surprise that we've got there was Lance Stroll, of course. We expected him to be a bit quicker, especially with Fernando Alonso up in second position. Yeah. Lance Stroll not having the best of performances, but we've got quite a lot of different drivers here that we normally don't have in Q2. So it's good. Also, like there's a little like graphic up on the F1 TV Pro state thing right now, and that's basically just showing the track dominance between Alonso and Stroll. And Alonso is quicker than Stroll in every single part of the circuit except for turn number 1 and turn number 2. Everywhere else, Alonso's quicker. So yeah, it is not looking good there for Lance Stroll. And a couple of drivers now. Well, a couple less drivers, so of course less issues with the traffic. Of course, this circuit is quite narrow, so I'm surprised we didn't have any sort of traffic issues around here. So yeah, but with only 15 drivers now, traffic and should be much less of a issue. What else was I going to say? Let's do lap times and top three predictions. Yeah, I'm going to say Verstappen, and then we're going to have Leclerc, and then we're going to have Perez. I'm very risky top three prediction. I'm being honest with you there. Um, yeah, let me know who you guys think is going to be in the top three. But yeah, Verstappen, Perez, and Leclerc seem like probably the safest bet. Who knows, though? Who knows? All right, Q2 has begun, and we have got the Red Bulls coming out right at the start of the session. Quite interesting. Normally, we don't see the Red Bulls come out until a little bit later on. But yeah, immediately Q2 has begun, and Verstappen and Perez are out onto the circuit. Interesting. But they're just doing the normal warm-up procedure. Nothing strange, I don't think. Driving around, getting some temperature into the tyres, into the brakes as well. All right, you're saying Max with a 127.63. I mean, wasn't he on the 128.8? So that's like a 1.5 second improvement. I mean, that is a... Who knows what will happen. Checo with a 129.9, 5/10 between the two, and then Charles that far behind. I think that's a little bit unrealistic. I don't think Red Bull are that quick, no. I really don't hope that. Who's your favourite driver? My favourite driver is Seb Vettel, and there are rumours that he's going to be back for next year, driving with Mercedes. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, Australia track evolution was 1.8 seconds from Q1 to Q3. Okay, well, that puts it in perspective then, and that probably makes it a bit more accurate. So Suzuka's bound to be the same, yeah. Yeah, especially given the fact that it rained yesterday, it definitely will be similar to that. So, yeah, I guess 1.8 seconds of track evolution. I never really quantified it. I always noticed over the course of a session or two, it was maybe 2/10, 3/10, but over the course of everything, with all of the drivers driving around, it probably does add up, actually. But here comes Max Verstappen then, barreling his way down into turn number 2, up the hill now for turn number 3 and 4. It really is a roller coaster. You can't really tell from the outside camera, but if you can watch the helmet cam, which you can on F1 TV Pro, that is such a smooth plug. But yeah, if you guys are interested in F1 TV Pro, link is in the description. You get all of the commentary, the team radio, the live footage, of course, all of the telemetry, historic F1 races as well. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, link is in the description, and it's in the chat as well, the pinned comment in the chat. Yeah, go ahead and check that out. Right, but back to Max Verstappen's lap. He is green through the first sector. In fact, not a personal best. Sergio Perez goes marginally quicker than Verstappen through the first sector. And let's see what Max Verstappen can do through the second sector as well. But it's both drivers are pretty quick, and it seems like Perez is doing a good job here matching Max Verstappen. Perez across the line with a 129.7. And we'll see what Max Verstappen can do now. Across the second sector, and is once again green for Max Verstappen. So Perez quicker in the first and second sectors, but Verstappen quicker in the third by just enough, and snatches that first place away by 12 milliseconds. Very, very close indeed. We haven't seen it be this close in a very long time. So yeah, lots of purple mini sectors. A nice lap there from Sergio Perez. All right, we've got Fernando Alonso starting a flying lap, and we've got Lewis Hamilton starting a flying lap as well. Right, here we go then. Through the S's really, and Fernando Alonso dealing with them very nicely indeed, going all the way to the edge of the circuit, and now makes his way towards Degner 1, only a tenth behind Max Verstappen in the first sector. That is good. That is very good signs there for Fernando Alonso. Maybe the pace wasn't just track evolution. Maybe Aston Martin have got some serious pace this weekend. They were looking quick. And look at this. Lewis Hamilton is half a second down on Verstappen in the first sector. Norris goes marginally quicker than Verstappen in the first sector. We've got a whole lot of drivers in the mix here. Fernando Alonso is close. Lando Norris is quicker. And Lewis Hamilton has got seemingly lost a whole bunch of time in the first sector. Alonso picks up a little bit of a toe as well off Max Verstappen coming down the back straight. And here he goes through 130R. 4G of force there through 130R. Slams on the brakes. 5.3G of force when he slams on the brakes. That is absolutely ridiculous. And he makes his way through now towards the start finish line, 3/10 behind Max Verstappen. So still pretty quick for the Aston Martin. They haven't been that quick recently, so some big improvements there from Aston Martin for sure. Hamilton across the line, 1 second behind Max Verstappen. Piastri is in fourth position, a 129.1 for him. Lando Norris, a 128.7, and he goes 2/10 quicker than Piastri, up into third place. Tsunoda across the line in seventh position. Just ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Let's see what George Russell can do. He is next across the line, and it is seventh position for George Russell, and he is 1/10 behind Lewis Hamilton. Once again, very similar to as he was in Q1. Then we've got the two Ferraris coming across the line. Let's see what Danny Rick and Nico Hülkenberg can do in the meanwhile. Ocon is across the line in 10th place for him. Next up is Daniel Ricciardo, who puts himself up into 11th place, slowest out of everyone so far. And he is half a second down on Yuki Tsunoda, which is not great. Not a good look, really. And now we have Charles Leclerc across the line in 6th position. And Carlos Sainz as well in 5th position. So it is quite quick here from the McLarens, especially Lando Norris up there in 3rd position, doing a fantastic job. Of course, it is Oscar Piastri's birthday today, so not great that he's been getting out qualified by his teammate on his birthday, but McLaren doing well, and so is Fernando Alonso. And look at that top third, 4th, and 5th, all 3 different teams. It's good to see some competition here between the drivers. Right. Good morning from South Africa. Good morning. Good morning indeed. We have 7 minutes left of the qualifying session, and we've still got quite a few drivers. Well, everyone's done their first laps apart from Hülkenberg and Albon. Hülkenberg didn't. Hülkenberg did do his first lap, but then got it deleted because of track limits. He exceeded track limits at turn number 13, which is the entry into Spoon Curve. The entry and the exit, really. But yeah, he got a lap time deleted, and that is why he has been dropped back down into 14th place, even though he completed a lap. Yeah, very unfortunate there for Nico Hülkenberg. But, he's a consistent driver. He'll be able to put in another similar lap. Oh, and there we go. We've hit 500 likes. Brilliant. I guess I can increase that to 750, I guess. Right. Yeah. Esteban Ocon, though, having a bit of a bad lap, and Daniel Ricciardo as well. I think both drivers made a couple of mistakes, and that has led to them being so far off the pace. I mean, there's clearly, if you look at the lap times here, in 9th place, you've got George Russell, who is set a 129.8. And then you've got Valtteri Bottas. Apologies for that. You've got Valtteri Bottas, who set a 1:30.3. So half a second gap between 9th and 10th place. It's quite a big gap there. Sainz is having a little bit of a throttle issue. In his throttle has gone a little bit light apparently. On the exit of turn number 13, he felt his throttle like break of sorts or go a little bit. Just not perform as normal. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Bless you, thank you, MCG 7199. Yeah. Yeah, if it rains tomorrow in Suzuka, that's going to be so exciting. I think I checked the forecast, actually. Let me check the forecast again. It was a bit weird, though. The forecast was just saying 40% chance of rain for the entire day. It wouldn't change any higher than 40%. It wouldn't go any lower for tomorrow, but we'll wait and see. Suzuka weather forecast. Tomorrow's weather is... Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be pretty dry for, honestly, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow it is sunshine and clouds at Suzuka with a 3% chance of rain. Yeah. Why do some of the softs in the tyre column have bits on the top right and bottom left? Essentially, the little lines at the top right and bottom left, that means that the drivers are out on a used set of tyre. And if they don't have a line, then that means it was a fresh set. So yeah, essentially, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, they set their lap times on a old set of tires rather than a fresh set. We know Suzuka in its F1 history, and I hope there's rain, but it's not torrential. Yeah, torrential rain is not ideal. Of course, I think maybe it was last year. I think it might have been last year where it did rain very, very hard, and we had quite a few laps behind the safety car. There was a red flag. We sat in the pits for ages. Yeah, it might have been actually. Who knows? But yeah. What was I going to say? 2 minutes left of the session, and the drivers currently in the elimination zone are getting ready to set another lap. Yeah, the top 7 as well, staying in the pits. They know that they're going to make it through just fine. So only Hamilton, Russell, Bottas, Tsunoda, Ocon, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, and Albon out on the circuit to set some laps here. The drivers that will be going right at the front will be Lewis Hamilton. The drivers going right at the back will be Valtteri Bottas. And I think Kick Sauber are doing a very good job here, putting Valtteri Bottas out right at the end of quali, but timing it just enough so he doesn't have to rush, which means if he goes right at the end of quali, he will, of course, get the most optimal conditions possible. And I think that's what helped him make it through into Q2. So let's wait and see if he can repeat that and maybe even get through into Q3. That would be sensational if he makes it through into Q3. Yeah, Spa was absolutely chaos in the rain. I remember, I was commentating that race, right? And we would get messages from race control being like, oh yeah, we'll send a safety car out in 15 minutes time. And oh no, session will restart in 15 minutes. Trust me, bro. And they would just say that for every 15 minutes. They were like, oh yeah, session restarting in 15 minutes. It was a bit of a mess, really. Yeah. Right. 50 seconds left on the clock, and we've got Lewis Hamilton leading the way. He has improved as well. So has Russell, so has Hulkenberg. Everyone improving as expected. And currently the drivers in the elimination zone are Tsunoda, Ocon, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, and Albon. We'll wait and see what they can do and if they can get themselves out of there. So here comes Lewis Hamilton, through the final corner he goes, onto the start finish straight, and he comes across the line for a 1 minute 29 point. Oh, 1 minute 28.8, sorry, and up into third place. That is a great lap there from Lewis Hamilton. George Russell, a 129.1, and that is only 7th place for him. So quite a big gap here between the two Merc drivers, and in the reverse direction over the past couple of weeks. Nico Hülkenberg comes across the line for 10th position. Ocon across the line, only 11th for him, so he is eliminated. Then we've got Daniel Ricciardo here now. He comes across the line. What could he do? 10th place for Daniel Ricciardo. It's going to be pretty unlikely that he makes it through, but let's wait and see. Alex Albon across the line, 12th place only for him. The Williams not quick enough at this weekend. Yuki Tsunoda currently in 15th place, knocks out Daniel Ricciardo by half a tenth, and Tsunoda in 10th position, and Danny Rick in 11th, and Bottas, last driver to come across the line, into 13th position for him. So that has been Q2, guys, and we have got Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Albon, and Ocon eliminated, and Tsunoda makes it through just ahead of Danny Rick, the home hero, by half a tenth of a second. He comes across the lap and comes over the radio, says, "Yeah, good lap, well done, guys." And he has made it through into Q3 at his home Grand Prix. His fans, of course, are very pleased about it, which is great to see. Yeah. Good lap there from Yuki Tsunoda. Very, very close indeed, I must say, but nevertheless makes it through. And oh, look at this, 5 different teams eliminated in Q2 as well. Oh, that's great to see. Yeah, is it the 5 same teams? Oh no, Alonso makes it through. So 4 of the same teams that got eliminated in Q1 get eliminated in Q2, and 1 Visa, Cash App, Red Bull gets eliminated. And apologies for my chair squeaking, guys. I don't know if you can hear it. But yeah, 6 different teams have been eliminated in Q1 and Q2 altogether. Oh, Alex Albon loses the rear massively on the exit of Spoon Curve, and that lost him time going, all the way down the back straight because he compromised his exit. So going down the back straight, he loses so much time. And then also hitting the chicane, trying to compensate for his loss of time. The Spoon Curve hits the chicane quite violently, and loses out there. So Alex Albon making a couple of mistakes at the final part of the lap and losing out. Daniel Ricciardo as well, hitting the curbs on the chicane quite violently, unsettling the car as well. And if he hadn't done that, maybe he would have made it through. Who knows? Oh, Yuki cooked a 10-star meal in his restaurant. Yeah, Yuki is doing a brilliant job. Alonso's Rookie of the Year once again. Yes, of course. All right, the Ocon over the radio saying the car's getting better, guys, and he's obviously very happy about it. Made it through into Q2, 15th place rather than, of course, where they started out the year, in 19th and 20th. So they are doing they're doing a good job. What's wrong with Ferrari? To be fair, I don't really know. In practice, it looked like they were going to be pretty quick. Like all things indicated towards Ferrari being pretty quick this weekend. And then nothing has come to fruition really. Their pace was meant to be quick. They were meant to only be a tenth behind the Red Bulls. And here they are down 3 tenths behind Carlos Sainz, and 4.5 tenths behind is Charles Leclerc. So quite just a bit of a lack of performance really from the Ferraris. Not sure exactly how that has happened, where their pace has gone. Maybe maybe, they, of course, what we've seen from Ferrari recently is that they have sort of a qualifying oriented car. Their car is very quick in qualifying, but then slow in the race. So maybe they've decided to set the car up for the race rather than the qualifying session, and that's why they're losing out. That is a potential option, of course, but who knows? Who knows what will happen for the Ferraris? Maybe they'll be better in Q3. Yeah, maybe they will. It's over for Ricardo. Indeed, it is. I mean, that is. It was very, very close. Yeah, it was very, very close. But he's yeah, yeah. Ricardo's saying, "Oh yeah, I appreciate that we've done well, and let's focus on the positives." But yeah, 11th place there for Daniel Ricciardo, unfortunately. Yeah, Alonso rolling into asthma. The future is now a young man. Yeah. I mean, of course, the joke of Alonso being a rookie came from the time that he did. What did he do? He did a young driver test in Abu Dhabi. I think it was maybe 2022 that he did the young driver test. Yeah, he was just because it was technically for any driver that hadn't driven in Formula One up until that in that season, and Fernando Alonso hadn't driven in that season, so he was technically allowed to be in the young driver test. But he is still 40 and doing a fantastic job. So we'll wait and see if he can get top four, potentially get up onto the podium. Because this is the thing, when you have a circuit that is very driver oriented, there's going to be a whole lot of pace and time that you can gain by just having quick drivers. And Suzuka is one of the circuits, Monaco is one of the circuits where if the driver is quicker, they have a real chance to make an impact rather than, say, for example, the Bahrain circuit where there are quite a few long straights, and if your car just isn't quick on the straights and you don't have enough downforce or whatever, or you have too much drag, then the driver can't have that much of an impact. Whereas at the circuits like Suzuka, like Monaco, the drivers play a much bigger role in terms of dictating where they end up, which is what we want to see. As much as we like seeing competition between the teams of who can build the quickest car. We also much more prefer. I think we prefer the drivers because it's like you can kind of just focus on like one person. It's like this is the main guy, whereas for a team you've got like 1,000 different people and you've got 12 different departments. And you can't really, vouch for just 12 different departments, whereas you can quite easily vouch for one driver. So yeah, and look at that. Q3 is underway. Sorry, and all of the drivers queuing up at the end of the pit lane. As soon as the light goes green, we've got Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen all coming out onto the circuit. And let's have a look which tires these are on. So look at this. Sergio Perez is out on a. Oh, sorry. Everyone is out on a fresh set of tires, as far as I can tell. I think Fernando Alonso maybe. Oh no, Alonso's out on a fresh set as well. Everyone is coming out on a fresh set. Of course, Pirelli give you one fresh set of tires if you make it through into Q3, and then what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Pirelli give you a fresh set of softs, and then I think the teams that were expected to make it through into Q3 have an extra set of softs prepared as well. So yeah, it's fine. As usual, Alonso single-handedly taking on Merc, Ferrari, and McLaren. Yeah, well, Alonso, I'm pretty sure has scored probably like 90% or 70-80% of the points that Aston Martin scored last year. So yeah, he is definitely carrying that Aston Martin team very heavily. Can V6s sound good? I'm sure V6s can sound good, but I think they've just got to. There's probably like a certain RPM at which the V6s sound good, and they've just got to increase the RPM limit. I think they did do that a couple of seasons ago. They increased the maximum limit to 18,000 RPM, but then they also said you can't have a special mode for qualifying and race. You just have to have like one sort of. You can't have a party mode basically. So the teams will never go up to 18,000 RPM because it will just compromise their reliability so much. Yeah. All right, then Hamilton, first driver to come across the line to start a lap. Then we've got Russell, Verstappen, Perez. Everyone apart from Leclerc, in fact, has come out onto the circuit, and everyone apart from Yuki Tsunoda is out on a fresh set of tires. Tsunoda is out on a used set, and his final lap will be on a fresh set. Hamilton's car sparking away as he goes through Degner 1 and Degner 2. Very tough corners to get right, but Hamilton has done so. On the exit of the hairpin, he gets all over the grass. And his right wheels covered in a bit of grass there. So, I mean, that's been cleared up as he makes his way towards Spoon Curve, but a fair amount of grass that Hamilton picked up there on the exit of the chicane, on the exit of the hairpin. Right. Purple first sector for Max Verstappen, and he goes, oh, look at this. This is very, very close between the two Red Bulls. Only 30 milliseconds between the first sector of Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. So it's looking good. It's looking good. Hamilton is across the line, a 128.7. Russell across the line, a 129. 3 tenths, 2.5 tenths between those two drivers. So Hamilton looks to be back. Max Verstappen now across the line. Two purple sectors, second and third sector. And it is a 128.2 for Max Verstappen. Sergio Perez, a 128.6. So 4 tenths is the gap between those two drivers. That's kind of what we typically see. And here comes now Fernando Alonso. No purple sectors for him, only one purple mini sector, and across the line in 4th position there for Fernando Alonso, marginally quicker than slots in right in the middle, of both the two Mercedes in terms of lap times as well. Carlos Sainz across the line up into 3rd place, so maybe Ferrari did have pace after all. And they've just been waiting to show it. I don't know why they've been waiting to show it, but Sainz up into 3rd place, Piastri into 5th, and Norris up into 2nd. What a lap from Lando Norris, I must say. Purple first sector goes quicker than Verstappen in the first sector, and then only a quarter of a second behind him. He goes quicker than Perez as well. Yeah, I think I predicted Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, but looks like we're going to have Verstappen, Norris, Perez. This is a very good lap there from Lando Norris. All right, so that has been the first runs of Q3. Yeah, Charles Leclerc coming out of the pits in the middle of the session. This is strange. I don't know why Ferrari are doing that, because he probably won't have enough time to go back and do another run. So Charles Leclerc is only going to have one run in Q3. Very interesting indeed. I don't like. Why would he not do 2 runs? He could do one on a used set and then one on a fresh set, but oh well. Yeah. Okie dokes. Also, guys, if you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Hopefully, we can hit 65,000 subscribers. We are, 225 subscribers away? I mean, you've got to hit a subscribe for that quick maths in my head. But yeah, if you are enjoying, then I'll be commentating tomorrow's race as well. So, yeah. Oh, Alonso's just come across a lot. Alonso come into the pits and says, "Yeah, I don't know what to do for a faster lap. I thought it was a good." To be fair, if you look at if you look how close it is, it's half a tenth that Alonso has to gain, and then he'll be up into fifth position rather than seventh. So it is very very close indeed. So, but yeah, Alonso comes over the pits and over the radio, sorry, and says, "Yeah, I thought it was a good lap. I don't know how to go quicker." So we'll wait and see. We shall wait and see what happens. Lewis has been told over the radio that it's half a second to Verstappen, and then Hamilton asks over the radio, "Where's that half a second?" Um, I mean, I think he's just in disbelief really of the pace difference. I think he said it last weekend as well. Yeah, Hamilton said it last weekend. He's like, this Red Bull is just a rocket ship or something like that, something along those lines. So, yeah. All right, Leclerc through the first sector, quarter of a second down off Max Verstappen. Yeah, quarter of a second down, but goes into the hairpin, has a very nice line through there, gets onto the power smoothly. And yeah, this is only going to be one run for Charles Leclerc. He's not going to be able to make it round, come back into the pits, and do another run. So this is Charles Leclerc's only lap in qualifying, only lap in Q3. Sorry. I don't know what happens to Charles. I mean, Ferrari happened. That's what happened, if I'm being honest. I don't know why he's only done one lap. But purple middle sector, looking good for Charles Leclerc. All right, here he comes then. Out of the chicane towards the start-finish line, and only seventh place there for Charles Leclerc, even with the purple middle sector. It looks like he really compromised his sector one was a little bit slow. He was a quarter of a second down, of course, on Verstappen at the start. So, yeah, I think that's mainly where he lost most of his time. A quarter of a second in the first sector alone. He could do a 2-lap run. Yeah, he could do a cool down and then another hot lap. We'll wait and see. Maybe they put extra fuel in for the car, but why would you do that? Like, I don't know. I don't know why they would do that. Because it will be slower because he would have used his tires up already. But oh well. Everyone's coming out of the pits, so that's why it says pit out. But yeah, everyone now on a fresh set of tires. 2 minutes left of the session. Sergio Perez is the driver going first. Then we have Max Verstappen, then Sainz, then Tsunoda, then Leclerc. Oh no, sorry, not then Leclerc. Then Tsunoda, then Alonso, then Norris, Piastri, Hamilton, and Russell. So the two Mercs going right at the back of the pack, hoping to get the most optimal track conditions possible. Leclerc's come over the radio saying, "That's the best I can do." Honestly, I don't get it. So quite a big gap there between Leclerc and Sainz as well. Actually, no, it's not quite a big gap. It's only a tenth of a second between Leclerc and Sainz. So yeah, it's pretty difficult. But I must say, Lando Norris up there in second place. I kind of just forgot about him. I don't know what he's done, but he has done an absolutely sensational job. And I'm sure we'll see a telemetry feed of how Lando Norris did it. But yeah, Sergio Perez, he is improves in the first sector marginally quicker than his previous first sector. Let's see what Verstappen can do. Verstappen goes purple, a tenth quicker than his previous first sector. That is seriously quick there, a tenth quicker than Lando Norris as well. Yeah, Leclerc into the pit. So that's Leclerc's final position, seventh or lower, depending on what everyone else can do. Piastri starts his lap when with 50 seconds left on the clock. We have Hamilton and Russell as well. Russell, in fact, might be giving Sergio Perez a little bit of a tow here. Yeah, gives Perez a little bit of a tow. Perez purple through the middle sector. Let's see what Verstappen can do, though. and 30 seconds remain on the clock. The final runs of Q3. Here we go. Sergio Perez across the line. It is second place, and he is 23 milliseconds off Max Verstappen's previous time. Let's see what Max Verstappen's new time is. Here he is across the line. Before it was a 1:28.2. Now it is a 1:28.1. And it is currently a Red Bull 1-2. If Sainz can do anything about it, here he comes across the line. He goes, and Sainz does not improve. He is half a second down on his previous lap. Just a couple of mistakes compounded together, and no improvements for Carlos Sainz. Tsunoda across the line. He once again does not improve. Now is Fernando Alonso. He is green in the first sector, green in the second sector. So he said he couldn't go any quicker, but here he is going quicker, quicker than expected, of course. And up into fifth position there for Fernando Alonso, half a second back from Max Verstappen. Next up is Lando Norris. He is across the line, and he does not improve. He goes half a tenth slower than his previous best. Oscar Piastri also does not improve. So the only drivers remaining now on hot laps are Russell and Hamilton. Russell half a second down in the middle sector. It is not looking good for him. I don't know why everyone is so far behind, really. Not improving so much, but there you go. George Russell improves and comes across the line, and that is it. That is everyone's qualifying runs, and it is a Red Bull 1-2. Lando Norris in third place, Carlos Sainz in fourth, Fernando Alonso in fifth, Oscar Piastri in sixth, Hamilton in seventh, Leclerc in eighth, George Russell in ninth, and Yuki Tsunoda, the home hero, in 10th. So that has been qualifying, guys. So Red Bull 1-2. Hopefully that can change tomorrow. Norris can send one down the inside at turn number 1. That would be brilliant. I will be commentating tomorrow's race as usual, guys. So if you guys are interested in obviously tuning in, if you guys have enjoyed today's coverage, then that would be fantastic if you guys could tune in tomorrow. Perez was only 66 milliseconds behind Verstappen, so very, very close indeed. Perez done a good job here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I will be commentating tomorrow's race as expected, as usual. And hope to see you there. So, it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you tomorrow for the race. I'm going to end today's stream. It'll take you over to tomorrow's stream. Just go ahead and press the like button on tomorrow's stream. It'll help out with the YouTube algorithm. Okie dokie. Cheers, fellas.